On today's show, does Luka Doncic need to average a triple-double this season to get voters' attention and to get them to vote for him? Yes. Plus, he has to do this other thing. We'll talk about that and more today. It's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
We have Kyrie.
You are Locked On Mavs.
Great, Rusty.
Your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
Almost done.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Amazing.
Your team every day.
Still can't even be open.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, making Locked On Mavs your first listen today. With the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day on any podcast platform. Like the video on YouTube, comment anything below, and go to our board bet survey. Fill out the survey. I'm trying to get 500. We're at like 370 something. Give me to 500. Have responded to our survey. The link is in the description wherever you're listening, watching this. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. And joining me, longtime host of this show, media member, the board bet brethren, the one more thinking. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
What you think about these leaked jerseys?
It looked like it just
City Edition.
looked like they just went to Microsoft Paint and changed the color, changed the fill color from last year's, removed a couple things.
Do you like this year's? Because I'm all in. I think it could be the best City Edition we've ever had. I'm not sarcastic either.
I don't know. I don't think that they're terrible, but I don't think that they're
I'm
great.
all in on it.
I don't think they're great either.
I think it's gonna look so good on merch. I think it's gonna look so good with underrated thing here, with all the different like shoes that players wear and different bright colors.
Just
now
this,
you're gonna have all
If
white uniform with these like cool shoes and like cool colors. I think it could. I mean, I really liked last year's, and I think last year's was awesome.
I loved last year's, the black with the Trinity blues. Like I loved. There's something that's throwing me off is not seeing the numbers on them. I think the numbers will change it a little bit because it just looks so weird. It looks like a intramural jersey. But if you haven't seen them, we texted them out to all of our Mavs insiders subscribers. So subscribe to that, and you get up to date information and rumors and stuff like that. But it's just like a white jersey, same kind of font as the Trinity River, like the black ones from last year. And then there is some like design stuff on the side. There's There's a little logo on the bottom right of the skyline, and then like the Longhorn symbol underneath it. There's some cool stuff in it. To me they're fine. To me they're fine. I don't think that they're great.
Just wait till you see some merch. You see it on some of the guys.
Do you still work for the Mavs? Like,
listen, I shot out a tweet about this and also said the graffiti ones are hot garbage.
Yeah,
I will die on that. Like that was the worst jersey of all time.
I really like the green retro ones. I liked the the gold ones. I thought were all right.
Gold and white were great.
I thought the Trinity River Blues with black ones were good. Yeah. We ran out of music.
I'm excited for it. Some of the other teams, I don't know what they're doing, but
yeah, there's some.
But I also have this like theory I tweeted out of like I think if your team doesn't do like a retro look, I think it's almost impossible for like your franchise to create a jersey, an alternate jersey that the fan base will immediately be like, that's going to be awesome. Cause we're so like ingrained in our heads of like
the Jazz, like gradient ones, the Miami Vice Heat ones. Like there have been some ones that have come out recently. The Trinity River Blues ones, the black ones, immediately
like two.
I mean, just off the top of my head.
I know, but like I feel like most of the ones that are not part, it's immediately like trash, horrible.
I don't think we trashed the ones last year, the black ones as much. As soon as we found out they were black, we're like, all right, we're in.
Some people don't like the black stuff because it's not part of our like color scheme.
Yeah, well, now they've had some classic playoff moments in them, and so
yeah.
Today's episode, we're gonna talk about jerseys the entire time. We're gonna talk about colors so that you can.
Close coming on.
If you're a person that hears and hears colors, this is a great episode for you.
Yeah. We'll
talk about some of our board bets on players. We'll talk about Luka. We'll talk about Kyrie. We'll talk about Klay Thompson. We got some on Derek Lively and some of the other players as well. There's a couple that are hotly contested right now. So we'll get into some of those. These are the bets we make before the season, basically the predictions we make about the season. But I want to start here, Isaac Harris. Luka Doncic has been the favorite to win MVP for the last, 4 years, 5 years. He is this year as well.
4 years.
The favorite on FanDuel to win the MVP. And the closest he got was last year, third in MVP. And he didn't really even seem to get a shot at it when you go look at the voting and go look at how many first place votes he got and all that. SGA was ahead of him. Jokic was way ahead of him. He won again. And to me, I think if Luka's going to get any attention, he's got to do something that, we've only seen once in the last, 50, 40 years and get a triple-double. And so one of our board bets is, will Luka average a triple-double this season? And so I started to look through it. Last year, he averaged 33.9 points, about 34 points, 9.2 rebounds, 9.8 assists, almost got to that 10 assists. And if you look at post-trade, he went to 33 points a game, 9.9 rebounds, almost that 10 rebounds, and 10.4 assists. That's post-trade. To me, I think if anything with Luka is going to change counting stats-wise, I think his points maybe will go down a little, but his rebounds and his assists like they did post-trade will go up this season.
Yeah, I'm in the same camp. I think it's going to be around like a 30-10-10 type season. I think you look on the offensive side, he can sacrifice, a little bit of points because, it's just some of the best offensive supporting cast that he's had. You factor in that Klay's he's going to be a sharpshooter, a spot-up shooter, but he can also create a little bit too. Dinwiddie off the bench. You still got Hardy, like obviously Kyrie. So I just think there's going to be more opportunities to get the assist mark. I think it just comes down to the rebounding part. And it's like, can he get over the 10 mark? I think his first season, he averages over 10 assists. I think he could lead the league in assists this year. And so then, yeah, obviously his points go down a little bit, but he could do it. I think this year he does it.
Do you think that catches voters' attentions though? All right, Luka, we hope this team is like a top 4 team in the West. He's averaging a triple-double. That's just another like add-on that you can do in the narrative column of like, all right, Luka, team's top 4. He's averaging a triple-double, blah, blah, blah. Like, all the things that they mention. Does that add any value?
I think it adds some like talking points, unfortunately, because I do think the triple-double is a little bit overrated now, but it's still going to come down to some of the team record stuff. It's pretty wild when you look at his stats from last year and you're like, how did a guy with these stats come in
4,
third
9, and 10
and an MVP? When you just look across the board, unfortunately, man, like it's just, it's not like a one size fits all. This is what gets you MVP. And some people throw out the Jokic stuff or Westbrook won MVP. If I hear it one more time, like Westbrook won MVP and he averaged triple-double and they were like the 6th or 7th seed.
Yeah.
It's like, well, every year's narratives is different. And you get somebody like, you look at all the narrative crap that happened this past year and SGA shouldn't have been, finished over Luka for second. That's ludicrous, but whatever.
Luda.
Who's salty about it still?
So
not me. Come on.
One of our board bets is will Luka average triple-double? I think we're both saying yes on that one. Another one is will Luka average more or less than 29.9 points? So basically, will he average 30 points over or under? Where are you on this? Because it sounds like you may be under on that. Or it sounds like you may be over, actually.
I think I'm slight under.
So he won't get to 30.
29. Just because I think, Kyrie, Klay, Lively's going to be playing more. Lively stretch 5.
Oh,
hello. Just kidding. Not kidding. I just think there's more opportunities for other guys on the team to score this year.
Pre-trade last season, he averaged 34.5 points a game. Post-trade, 32.9 points. So it went down about 1.5 or 2 points.
2 points.
So will it go down? I think adding Klay now, I think it'll go down again, a couple more points.
I was going to say Klay's offensive side compared to Derrick Jones Jr. a little different, little more shots. We can go through the whole dichotomy of like Tim Hardaway is gone and Josh Green is gone and and all that, and those shots offset a little. But I do think that his points are going to be down a little because I think he won't have to, and I think we both hope he won't have to play as much in the fourth quarter this season. As he has in the past. They've had to just run him ragged in fourth quarters because they're down. They need to catch up and all that. And so you're under. I was also under on this one. We didn't tell each other where we were on these. So we're in agreement on those. I think the next thing he needs to do in order to get that MVP is another one of our board bets is will Luka be top 3 in technical fouls this year?
Last season, we think he was top 3. Dylan Brooks was number 1. Anthony Edwards was up there. And Luka last year had 13. He actually had 16, but he got 3 rescinded. So that's positive, which is why he didn't get suspended for a game. But do you think Luka will be top 3 in techs this season again?
Yes.
You're yes.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of like ingrained in him.
I'm gonna go no, because I think this season he won't have.
Look at you.
I'm gonna go no. I'm gonna go optimistic on this, and I think that he needs to calm that down a little this season. And I think that
You think he comes in 4th?
Sure, I'll still win.
Yeah, no, that's true.
He's gonna get double digits. He's gonna get 10, right, or 11, or something like that. But I hope that there won't be as many situations as like last season or even the season before where he's just like in this state of frustration. And I hope this team it comes a lot more easily to him, and that winning is easier. And if they breeze through games, he's not getting techs, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's the hope. That's the hope.
I don't put anything past Luka to get a tech.
He got a tech for yelling at his own teammate one time. I can't remember exactly, but I remember that it happened. Coming up, more on Luka, but with Kyrie Irving. Will Kyrie Irving have the same kind of role that he had last season, in that he was the microwave scorer? We'll talk about that and what that means coming up.
You don't believe you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook has all kinds of props and odds that you can use to get in on the action and talk about sports with everyone around you. But Isaac, you've heard us talk about FanDuel a lot. It's America's number one sportsbook, but we have something a little different for you. Now through September 22nd. When is that?
That's coming up.
All FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Is that something you'd be interested in getting?
Dude, I had a Sunday Ticket on YouTube TV last year. Incredible.
Then, with a YouTube TV base plan, you're able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account, current form of payment. You can cancel anytime. Just visit FanDuel.com and download America's number one sportsbook. While you're there, you can go check out and see what kind of NBA futures odds they have. All kinds of stuff with Luka. Right now, he is the betting favorite to be the MVP. He's plus 350. Jokic is plus 400, and SGA is plus 490 right now on there. So again, check it out. FanDuel, it's America's number one sportsbook.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Thanks for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of the show, part of the Raccoon Squad, listening every day. Appreciate each and every one of you for checking out the show. Make your second listen today, Locked On NBA. I'm going to be there on Thursday. Me and Swipa from Locked On Nuggets will be talking all about the NBA, so check it out on Thursdays. And then the rest of the day, wherever you're listening, watching this, check out Locked On NBA, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, Isaac. Last one for Luka here. We're doing our board bets where these are the predictions that we make before the season. You can give your answers in the link in the description. We put a form out there. It's all over our socials as well. So you can go check it out at Locked On Mavs on Twitter and Instagram. Luka, will he have a game with 74 or more points this season? Will he break his own record in points? There's only 3 games ever higher than 73. Wilt with 100, Kobe with 81, and Wilt with 78.
Yes.
You're going for it.
I'm going for it.
I am too. Why not?
The odds are in our favor.
No, they're not.
Not at all.
There's only been 3 in NBA history.
I know.
We put this one out there, and I was just really curious where fans are on this one. Yeah, and so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Friday, where fans are, because I was actually surprised so far seeing the results where fans
People are saying yes.
I
should be saying no.
So
he's gonna get 76 in the first 2 weeks, and we're like, crap.
That'd be amazing. All right, let's move on to Kyrie Irving. To me, I think with Kyrie Irving, I'm curious what his role is going to be like this season. So one of the board bets that I put up there was, will Kyrie have as many 20-point quarters as he had last season? Kyrie last season played 58 games, and he had 12 20-point quarters last season. He had a bunch of 19-point quarters too. I didn't even count up all those, but I just made it a round number and was like, all right, give me the round numbers there. He had 12 last season. Do you think he gets more or less than 12 20-point quarters this season?
Less, yeah. And I just think that there were a lot of times Kyrie looked at him and was like, I have to do this for us, just like, and I think it can almost be not the opposite. He's still going to have some of those moments, but I think him more than anybody is going to look at it and say, we got to get Klay back to Klay. And I think they'll almost like force things to Klay at times before Kyrie comes out in the third quarter and says, I'm putting up 23 this quarter. So he'll still get some. I just don't think it's 12 again.
I think it's more because
I
think the same thing as you, but in a different way. I think that Kyrie will look at this team and try to do all those other things that he did last season. Get rebounds, defend, steals, all that kind of stuff. Set up other guys like Klay and get him going and all that. He'll do that. And then third quarter or fourth quarter comes around, and he's the only one out there sometimes, right? Luka sits for a little bit. We don't know what Klay's rotation is going to be like. And he just goes off. And those are all his points. He gets like all his points in one quarter and just like gets all his work done at once. And I think that's something that the Kyrie would look at and be like, this is my time. This is how it works. We set everybody else up for the rest of the game, but this is my time. I get this one stretch where I just like take over. And I think he'll get more than 12. I also am banking on with this one. Our other one was how many games played will Kyrie have? And it was 58.5 over or under. And I'm taking the over. I'm just going pure blind optimism that he'll play more games than 58.
Because 58 was how many games he played last year.
Correct.
I'll take the over too. I'm not standing there trying to say he's going to play like 77, but I think I'm holding out hope for like a mid-60s season for Kyrie.
You remember that podcast, 77 Minutes in Heaven? Whatever happened to those guys?
Oh, what happened to those guys? Wait, was that the only Mavs podcast?
It was at one point. It was the only one.
We love those guys.
Now they have no vowels.
Then they lost their vowels. Budget cuts.
Shout out to Tim Cato, friend of the pod. Yeah, Kyrie played 58 games last season. He played 60 games the season before between Brooklyn and Dallas. He played 29 games in 2022. He had the suspension. He played 54 games in 2021. And then he played 20 games in 2020, but that was the COVID season with the COVID rules. He couldn't play home games and all that. So yeah, I'm gonna go over on that. Just sheer blind hope and faith.
Yeah, me too.
And then that would help me with the 20-point quarters because I think he'll have more 20-point quarters if he plays more than 58 games.
He plays more games.
The last one for Kyrie here. This was the one you came up with. I really liked. Will he average the most points in his draft class this season? His draft class is still kind of wild. So last year, Kyrie averaged 25.6 points a game. Kawhi Leonard was in his draft class, and he averaged 23.7 points last year. Jimmy Butler was also in his draft class, and he averaged 20.8 points last season. Klay Thompson is also in his draft class and averaged 17.9. Nikola Vucevic was in his draft class and averaged 18. Other guys in his draft class, Tobias Harris on the Pistons now, Bojan Bogdanovic, the Knicks one, Jonas Valanciunas, who's on the Wizards now. I guess who's going to score on that team? Maybe he could throw down 25 again.
He might.
Marcus Morris, who's now on the Knicks, and Reggie Jackson also on.
Markieff Morris too.
Markieff in his draft class. But where do you stand on this one?
I mean, I feel like it all depends on. This one's tough. For me, it's like Kawhi versus Kyrie.
He averaged 2 points more a game last year than Kawhi.
I know, but no Paul George now, and
it's true.
But he's also like kind of broken. So I'm like, but I guess that doesn't.
Isaac, if anyone's gonna know about healing the broken,
I mean. Brokenness aside, he makes me beautiful.
What's that band called? Jars of Clay.
But I guess if Kawhi, I guess that doesn't like really affect his points per game, right?
He's gonna need to score more on that team.
If he only plays like 40 games.
You're right about that. Yeah. No, I mean, it's just points per game. It's not total points.
I'll take Kawhi.
Wow. I took
Who else is going to score on that team?
I took him too. That's dumb.
Oh, did you? I'll take Kyrie then, so I can be right.
We're optimistic. No, you can't just go back after you hear what I said.
I'm just kidding. No, I'll take Kawhi. Yeah.
I took the class because I do think that the Kawhi is going to have more of a scoring onus on him than Kyrie will. I think Kyrie will average like 22, and I think they'll all come in like one quarter. I think he'll just go off on like one quarter.
We know how you feel about the 20-point quarters.
Get all his work done. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, no chance to catch him. I have seen a YouTube commenter on our channel say that they think Klay is going to be the number 2 scorer on the Mavs next season.
Interesting.
There's at least one Mavs fan out there.
Kyrie would have to turn into just like Nets Jason Kidd out there and career high in assist.
Do you remember that like half season Doug McDermott played for the Mavs
I do.
and shot like 50% from three?
Are you saying that's Klay?
Is there a chance that Klay just does something like that where it's crazy? Remember Grant Williams shot like 60% from three the first 10 games?
Can you not compare, like, can you not say, like, what if Klay's Doug McDermott? Like, I hope he's a little bit better.
No, Doug shot 50%. This is what I'm saying. What if he shoots like 50% from three and then all of a sudden Klay is averaging like 24
That's
points?
great. He shot 50% from three, but then they traded him. So Doug can, like, has played for like all these other teams. So don't.
I'm just saying the effect.
Okay. Yeah.
The effect could happen on Klay.
Thanks, Doug. Doug was great for me in a profile did of him and Harrison Barnes. So I'll always appreciate him.
That's what we got on Kyrie. You can give your answers in the survey. We put a link in the description wherever you're listening. Watching this coming up, let's talk about Klay Thompson himself. Klay, what will his impact be on the Mavericks? How will he shoot? How will his fourth quarter minutes look? We've got others on everybody. We're going to have to do some rapid fire on this one coming up.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Today's episode of Locked On Mavs is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has all kinds of things that you can use to go see. Oh, to go see concerts. There's a Dua Lipa concert. Tickets, $126 to go see Dua Lipa at the American Airlines Center.
I'm going to see Usher in a few weeks.
Usher. You were seeing Usher when I asked you to go to do this podcast the first time.
Whoa. That was John Legend. Come on.
Sorry. Baltimore, you could have just gone along with it. The Baltimore Ravens, your Baltimore Ravens playing the Dallas Cowboys. Tickets, you ready for this? On Game Time. $29, the cheapest one. You can get it.
Bullcrap.
20. I'm buying some so you and I can go see them. So go check it out on Game Time. You can see the view from your seat, all kinds of stuff like that. And I know that if I turn on the all-in pricing, toggle that feature, you know that you'll see the price as it's going to be with all the fees and everything up front, so that you know that that's what you're going to get. Check out, take the guesswork out of buying tickets to your favorite concerts, comedy, theater, sports, everything. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time. What time is it? Game time.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
Listen, can I do a little PSA real quick?
Can you just apologize for just blowing up my spot during the ad read?
Yeah, sorry about that.
I forgot which R&B singer you went to.
I just want to just real quick, 10 seconds. If you have a Cowboys ticket for Sunday, anybody out there, some like sweet hookups. I would love to see the Ravens play, but I also have two kids and poor. So
the tickets, I'll buy you the tickets on Game Time and we'll go.
If they're $29.99, then they're literally out in the parking lot, probably.
This man has trust issues.
I can't even buy a hot dog at the game for $29.99.
All right, we gotta get to Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, one of our bets on Klay Thompson. Will he shoot over or under 39.5% from three? Will he get to 40%? I'm going over on this because I'm going over on this one because I think with Klay, his 3-point shooting, I mentioned earlier, he could have a lift like some of these other role players we've seen from the Mavericks playing next to Luka. He shot 38.5% last year, shot 41.2% the year before that, and then 38.9% coming back from injury the season before that. I'll flip those, but yeah, about the same thing. Klay last year actually shot better than the year before on guarded jumpers. He shot 38.2% on guarded jumpers last season. That's actually pretty good. Shot 33.5% on guarded jumpers in 2023. So last season, he was better on guarded jumpers than he was the year before. The thing that
rapid fire. The
thing that Klay will be much better at this season, he shot 38.8% on unguarded jumpers last season. The season before, he shot 50%. That's why he really took a big downturn. He missed a bunch of unguarded jumpers because I think he was in his head. He was frustrated. There's all kinds of stuff and drama going on with the Warriors and contract and all that. I think that's going to be out the window. I think he's going to be back to like 50% on unguarded jumpers. And guess what kind of shots he's going to get with the Mavericks playing off of Luka and Kyrie?
Open shots.
That's right. Going over on this one.
Me too. Over.
Klay Thompson, fourth quarter minutes, 7.5 was our over-under because last season he averaged 7.7 fourth quarter minutes on the Warriors. That was number one on the Warriors. That surprised both of us when we looked that up when we were doing this. Post-trade last season, fourth quarter minutes. Kyrie, 9.8 fourth quarter minutes a game.
Yeah.
PJ, 8.9. Luka, 8.4. Gafford and Lively, by the way. Gafford was 5.7. Lively was 4.2. This is post trade. We think more or less for Klay Thompson in the fourth quarter.
Under.
You're going over. Give you a reason.
I said under.
You're going under. Give me the reason.
Yeah. For some of the reasons why we talked about the starts, I think Najee's going to close some of the close games. But also, I'm also banking on some blowouts. And maybe he doesn't have to play the fourth that much. So, yeah, I'm going to say slight under.
This is boring because I went with the same thing because I think the same. I think a similar thing. I think Najee will have to close some games because of defense. I think that you'll find. I don't think you'll find Klay closing as many games as some of those guys. This was sort of our way to gauge that with people.
Yeah.
where they feel on Klay.
I do think we probably differ a little bit. Of like, you probably think that Najee will close more games, and it's like kind of a foregone conclusion that, hey, some of these close games they're going to go with defense over Klay. And I don't think that. I think Klay is going to close a lot of games. I just think there's going to be enough scenarios to where they want two defensive guys out there, but not every scenario.
Yeah. And we get to decide what is closing each night. It's going to be different every game.
Yeah.
This is one I added. Klay, 5 or more threes in a game. How many games will he have 5 or more threes? Last season, he had 25 and 77 for the Warriors. Will he have more or less than 25?
So 25 out of 77 games, he had 5 or more threes.
He had 5 or more threes in those games.
Yeah, sign me up for that. Yeah.
You going over on that one?
Yeah. I'm telling you, dude, that first Klay game where he hits like 9 or 10 threes in a game, it's just going to be so satisfying. I'm so ready.
Call me Zendaya because I'm going to be in euphoria. Here's how many 5-3 games Klay had before, and this is why I'm over on this one. Last year, 25 in 77. Year before, 29 in 69 games. There's only 40 games he didn't have 5 or more threes.
Dang.
That's kind of wild.
We should put the thing on like how many games will he hit 10 or more threes.
We should have done that.
The first 10 or more 3 game, dude, Shannon Sharp will go live again.
The one that kind of did scare me, I went back to 2019, the year, but like before his injury, he had 13 in 78 games because he was only taking like 7 threes a game because he was still playing with, I think he was still playing with KD at that point. And so there's just less shots to go around and all that.
Yeah.
But that one's interesting. That one made me like think, okay, maybe he won't have as many because the volume won't necessarily be there. Okay. Klay starts. Klay versus Najee.
Klay. This one's easy for me.
Yeah, this is easy too.
If Dwight Powell can start games, Klay Thompson can start games.
I think Kid will start Klay. To me, like my strategy would be, I would still start. I would probably start Klay, but I would close with Najee. I think Kid is going to be with you and what you think is that I think he's going to just go with Klay, live and die with Klay and all that.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That's what I'm going on that.
He's not coming here to be Doug McDermott.
But he will shoot like him, 50%. Derek Lively, 3-point attempts. We've set this at 5.5. Last year, he took 2.
Honestly, I'll take the over for the fun of it. I have no clue. I haven't talked to anybody to know if like, hey, are we gonna like force this year or like open this up? But I'll take the over for the fun.
Yeah, I also took the over on this one for the fun of it. But yeah, I'm interested to see 5 if he gets more than 5. Sort of like more than 5 is like not an accident, right?
No, he could have more than 5 by Christmas, or he could have 3 attempts and it's April and we're like crap.
You know what I think is actually going to happen? We'll see a game. We'll see like 2 games in the preseason where he takes like 4 or 5, and then
everybody's gonna lose their mind.
And then he won't take any the first 2 months of the season. They're like, just try it, just go for it. Derek Lively minutes, 29.5 is what you set this one as. Last year he was at 23.5. I took the under on this one. And I just wanted to say that first because I didn't want us to do the same thing again.
I'll take the over.
You're taking the over? Give me the reason for the over.
Because Derek Lively's that good and you need him on the floor. I think you saw it in the playoffs. Like there were times like you couldn't play Gafford. I mean, Gafford was just getting smoked on the perimeter. He has some cool blocks and stuff, but I think especially against some of the really good teams and some of the matchups, Gafford might get played off the floor again, and to where like Lively, like you couldn't have him off the floor. So
we're going back to a playoff problem. I think Gafford is totally playable against pretty much every team. I think
he's still going to play a lot and all of that, but
there's still going to be games that Gafford plays more than Lively this season.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yep. Well, okay. You want to
put a board bet on who
add one?
Who averages the most minutes per game?
No. How many? No, because I think Lively will play more minutes, but I think there will still be games that Gafford plays more than Lively. So you want to put like 10%, so like 8 games. Will Gafford play more minutes than Lively?
I mean, 8 out of 82.
Yeah,
that's not. I mean, sure. Like, I feels like that's a pretty low number.
You said he's going to average 30 minutes a game.
Yeah, but like you said 8 games out of 82 games.
10 and a half.
No, sure. I'll say it. I think Lively's going to, I think
11 and a half.
I think Lively's going to step
12.
more into like, I am the starting center this year. Like
sure.
It is me. It's not a dual combo thing, even though it's fun to talk about it that way. I think it's like, hey, I'm the starting center. Gafford, you back me up thing.
So how many more games will Gafford play more minutes than Lively?
You will take 11 or more. I will take 10 and a half or less.
Okay. So it's 10 and a half.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
That they're healthy.
And it doesn't count if Lively doesn't play, obviously.
Yeah.
Like that's dumb. PJ Washington to start every game. This one was one of the ones where the results so far have been surprising. I shared it on Twitter that it was basically like almost tied, where people think that PJ will not start every game he plays. Some of that was because Jason Kidd will experiment all that, but I think PJ will start every game he plays.
I'll take the under.
You're taking no.
I'll take no. I just think 4 of those spots are kind of locked in. I think it's Lively, Klay, the 2 stars, and that 4th spot is where you could see a Najee step in, or I don't know.
It's more PJ versus Najee instead of Klay.
Yeah, I think PJ gets the majority of the starts. I just think I could see him experimenting.
Total minutes. Hardy versus Exum.
This one's a fun one.
I did not put one because I'm just going to take the opposite of what you take.
I'll take Exum.
Okay, I'll take Hardy then. That's Hardy is who I would have gone with in my heart.
There you go.
For no other reason than
Hardy, let's go party.
Let's go.
Hardy's gonna have a big season.
I'm excited for him. I hope that he's had a year with Kyrie. I think that's going to help him. I think he looks at contract situations like, all right, I got to do something. He had some flashes in the playoffs. I think that there's going to be some good stuff for him. What else do we have?
2 more.
That was it. No, that was it. That's all I put on the like actual
bull crap
list.
You have 2 more on your chart.
Okay, you want to do the Gafford versus Maxey one?
Oh, you didn't put those on the thing.
I took that one off because I just think it would be a blowout.
Okay.
Gafford's going to average more minutes than Maxey.
You remember when people thought it was a no-brainer that Christian Wood would?
I do, and I was more questionable about that one than I am about this one.
And I was like, no, it's going to be Maxey.
Are you questionable about this one?
A little bit. Just
minutes
because
per game. Gafford's going to play like 22 minutes.
No. It's total minutes, right?
I wrote down minutes per game.
Okay, minutes per game. Yeah, Gafford. Okay.
That's why I took that. That's why I
think the reason why I think it's a conversation is I think Lively steps into that full-time starting center role.
Yeah.
So you look at that leap from where he was last year, Lively going from like 23 minutes a game. It was more of that split, and Gafford starting and playing a lot of minutes. I could just see scenarios in which, some games are ending and Lively's playing his 30 minutes, but yet they also wanted to do like some stretch 5 small ball lineups instead of Gafford out there, and a little bit more switchability type thing, to where it just wouldn't shock me that we're looking at like a box, a box score after the game. And it's like, all right, well, Lively had 31 minutes played. Maxey had 16 and Gafford had 14. That just wouldn't surprise me at all.
The benefit Maxey has is he can play with both of them. He can play with Gafford, and like Gafford, can't play with Lively. So
I'm not saying that Gafford's like not gonna. It's not like it's Dwight. Like Dwight's not gonna play, but Gafford, cool, nice new hair from Dwight though. I just think Gafford's role is going to be reduced just a little bit because I think you have a young star that does everything that he does.
Yeah.
And you want this guy to play.
There you go. Thanks for checking out the show. Subscribe on wherever you're listening, watching this. Go check out the board bet survey in the link wherever you're listening and watching this. Go check it out and answer your questions, guys. Thanks for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.